Oh, so you all coming? All aboard! It's the Polar Express. I am Tom Hanks, and welcome aboard the Polar Express. And what's up, everybody? It's your boy King Gabe in the house here, about to get into yet another Christmas story time reading. Uh, this time it's the like I just mentioned, it's the Polar Express. Yes, very, very good artwork there, especially even on the back there. Yeah, like the so especially the train. Um, Fun fact about me, I love trains. Yeah. One thing that made me really like trains was Thomas the Tank Engine. Actually, as any of y'all have been following me on Facebook, and also on YouTube. It was a while back when I posted this video on this short on YouTube, but I recently reposted in the story of my Facebook. Um, Morgan Freeman narrating Thomas the Tank Engine. Thomas is a tank engine who lived at the big station on the island of Sodor. So yeah, something like that. But so yeah, this so yeah, so you definitely so you know I'm definitely gonna enjoy this. Um I've act much like the other Christmas stories I've read, Frosty, the Grinch, and then Charlie Brown last night. I have seen the TV movie specials of all of them. I seen as I explained, I saw the Frosty, the Snowman TV special, and all its and the sequels like Winter Wonderland, Frosty Returns, and even the Legend of Frosty, which wasn't really all that good. Uh, Only one I don't remember seeing, I don't think I have, but if I did, I don't remember it, was Frosty and Rudolph there. But yeah, seeing other Frosty iterations. I know about Frosty and Rudolph because that, like I say, that was a thing. Much, Frankenbass, it was a Frankenbass production. I've seen The Grinch, the original cartoon. I've seen of course, the other Grinch sequels like Grinch Halloween and Grinch Meets the Cat. After the original cartoon, The Cat in the Hat, of course, sort of like a Batman Superman kind of thing. And of course, the Jim Carrey Grinch movie and the recent Grinch movie with the guy who played Doctor Strange there. Yeah, so yeah, seeing that, and of course we did go through my Charlie Brown history after reading its story. So much like, um, now I may have also mentioned this and maybe a few of them, but not all of them. I'm not completely sure, but um, I that was actually my first time reading those books. Like I say, I had because I got them. I think I got them back here ago. When I call myself trying to do a story time live stream on one of my old channels there with other books, and I got those especially for Christmas. Um, Chances are I may have possibly read them on my live streams on the other channel. I think like my really old one, Mega Gabe or Brownie React, something like that. But it was a while back ago. But as far as I can tell, I think yeah, this that was the first time I've read those books, as far as I can remember, the book form, the Charlie Brown, Frosty, and the Grinch, and this is my first time reading the Polar Express. I actually have seen the movie of it, but I have never read the book of it. My mom has read the book to her class back when she was a school teacher. And they had a whole big event at her school where where she was a teacher at, first grade teacher by the way. And they had a whole big event for the kids. I think like the first graders and possibly I guess the kindergartners maybe. But they had a whole, or I think maybe it was just the whole school. I'm not completely sure, but they had a whole thing event where her class and other classes at the school dressed up in their pajamas, went to school. They wore their pajamas all day at school and read the Polar Express. I think they even watched the movie. and did some activities related to it there. So yeah, it was yeah, it was a pretty so yeah, this was a pretty big thing here when it came out and everything. So yeah. And according to this, it says with a keepsake ornament and a bonus audio read by Liam Nelson. Go to thepolarexpress.com for activities, recipes, and prizes, plus a Christmas countdown calendar, signed edition. The cradle, the Cadle, the Cadicott medal. So yeah. So I guess yeah, you go to that Polar Express website. I guess that's where you get the audio reading and the activities and the prizes. That maybe possibly where the school may have got some of their activity ideals for their little event for the kids over at my mom's school she taught at. So it could be possible. Excuse me there. So anyway, let's go on and get into this here. Um, let's see. So you got on the first page. There's a little note here. A young boy lying awake on Christmas Eve is welcomed by a magical train to the North Pole. Though dark forests over tall mountains and across a barren desert of ice, the Polar Express makes its way to the huge city, standing alone at the top of the world, where the boy will make his Christmas wish. For millions of readers around the world, this mysterious journey to the North Pole has become a beloved Christmas classic in this 13th anniversary edition. Okay. The inimitable artistry of Chris Van Allsburg is showcased with a bold new jacket design and expanded exterior layout. The author's note plus a gold foil ornament are included in at the back. And the special edition of the Polar Express is the perfect gift for all those of any age who believe come Christmas Eve that they will hear the sweet sound of a reindeer's silver bell. Hmm. So, and there was a pretty interesting. Oh, here it is. What they was talking about. So yeah. There's a little thing in here. So I'm gonna read the story first. There's also a note at the end of it. So I'm gonna read the story first, and I'm gonna read the note after the story, and I'm gonna open this thing up here. This little thing. Like I said, this is the first time I'm reading this book, so I'm gonna yeah, I'm gonna get this out and see what it's like after I read the story, of course. All right, I probably should write my name in here, but we'll take care of that. The Polar Express, written by Chris Van Allsburg. Okay, well, Chris, let's see what we got here. What's up, EJ? The EJ in the house. I know EJ ready to go on board. Oh, and make those of y'all. Oh, yep, there you go. So I know EJ gave me a like. And whoever else is in here on board with us, make sure you give a like too, so YouTube can know that we are all on board for this. There, get it? All on board. Okay, and there's a good picture right here too. The Polar Express. Yeah. So get on in here. It looks like it's a photograph in here. The picture I just showed you. Okay. Sure I didn't skip any pages. Okay, I didn't. On Christmas Eve, many years ago, I lay quietly in my bed. I did not rustle the sheets. I breathed slowly and silently. I was listening for a sound a friend had told me I never hear, the ringing bells of Santa's sleigh. There is no Santa, my friend had insisted, but I knew he was wrong. And little thing I want to point out about the Santa thing. Um, My Yumiko series is all about imagination and dream becoming reality. So one might ask, well, Gabe, if you're all about imagination and dreams with your Yumiko series, what's your take on Santa? Figures like that. In Yumiko, he would exist. How, you ask? You'll have to see. You'll just have to see when I get to that point there. But in Yumiko, yeah, there is a way that Santa does exist in that universe in that series there, and there's quite a big thing about Santa that kind of explains his a little bit of his little, but at least in my own way, my way of explaining the Santos mythos. And don't worry, I'm not doing they got some things out there where they try to make Santa scary and stuff like that. Now I'm not doing anything like that now. Now don't worry, you still got your friendly Santa ho ho ho. Yep. I will say, however, that chances are I could definitely imagine a Santa Claus in my series sort of being similar to Tim Allen, or possibly I don't know if y'all know this actor, but Douglas Seal, who played the Sultan in Aladdin. He was the Santa Claus in the Ernest Christmas special. So something like that, or even the Santa from Miracle on 34th Street. Both versions, the old original version and the one that had Mara Wilson in it from Matilda. So yeah, there's a lot of directions it can go with the Santa thing there. Yep. Late that night, I did hear sounds, though not of the ringing bells. From outside came the sound of hissing steam and squeaking metal. I saw through my window and saw a train standing perfectly still in front of my house. Oh boy. Imagine. And look how they got it. What it got the you open up the book and this picture takes up quite a bit of the book here. Hmm. That's yeah, that is quite a piece of art there. I'm pretty sure that's a painting there. So let's see a train. So a train in front of his house. Kind of reminds me of when I was a kid when I was watching so much Thomas the Tank Engine. There were times I imagined Thomas and his friends in the neighborhood there. I remember one time I said, "Hey, Mom, Toby's gonna pick me up from school today in Henrietta." And this is the train right here. Boop, boop. Speaking of Thomas the Tank Engine, wouldn't that be interesting if these were Thomas and his friends in the Polar Express, like maybe Gordon, since he's a big tender engine pulling the express. All aboard, children. I'm here to take you to Santa Claus. Now come on board. I don't want to be late for old Saint Nick. I must be on time, just like I am for Sir Topham Hatt. That would be pretty interesting. Tom Gordon or any of the other trains from Thomas the Tank, or even Thomas himself. And Thomas wanted to pull the express once. So yeah, it was wrapped in an apron of steam. Snowflakes fell lightly around it. A conductor stood at the open door of one of the cars, and he looked like Tom Hanks from that movie Toy Story, the one that played Woody. And also in the movie Splash, where he hooked up with a mermaid. wasn't expecting me to bring that up there. and of course, don't forget Forrest Gump. So he took a huge, he took a large pocket watch from his vest, or like the one I wear around my neck, representing Hiko from Yumiko. And he looked up at my window. I put on my slippers and robe and tiptoed downstairs out the door. I understand the robe and pajamas, but if I was, I'm just saying, if I was a kid and I saw this in front of my house, or better yet, if I saw this in general, big train like that, even if I walk out there in my pajamas, I'm at least gonna put some shoes on, especially if it's snowing out there. Maybe I'd have my hot shoes if it wasn't snow, but if it's snowing out there, yeah, I'm gonna have my shoes on because my feet will be freezing. Yeah, I'm just saying. Like I said, I understand the pajamas, but I'm gonna put some shoes on, even if it's my bare feet in the shoes. Yeah, I'm just saying. All aboard! The conductor cried out. I ran up to him. Well, he said, are you coming? "Mhm." Where? I asked. Why, to the North Pole, of course, was his answer. This is the Polar Express. I took his outstretched hand and he pulled me aboard. Mm. The train was filled with other children, all in their pajamas and nightgowns. We sang Christmas carols and ate candies with nougat centers as white as snow. I bet that was good. We drank hot cocoa as thick as and rich as melted chocolate bars. Outside, the lights of town and villages flickered in the distance as the Polar Express raced northward. And here we are. Yeah, yeah, I definitely want to be on this train here. Mm, yeah. Soon there were no more lights to be seen. We traveled through cold, dark forests where lean wolves roamed and white-tailed rabbits hid from our train as it thundered through the quiet wilderness. Hmm. Although I think it'd be more than just a train that the rabbits would be hiding from if the wolves are out there. Yeah, I think those rabbits would probably be hiding from the wolves too. When I think about it. Yeah. We climbed mountains so high it seemed as if we would scrape the moon. But the Polar Express never slowed down. Faster and faster we ran, rolling over peaks and through the valleys like a car on a roller coaster. And man, y'all should, if y'all hadn't seen the movie of this, y'all got to see that. I mean, this was one heck of a train ride that they went through. Man, it was all kind of stuff they went through. Mm. Let me get the little beach. Man, I ain't licking my fingers. The mountain turned into hills and hills to snow covered plains. We crossed the barren desert of ice, the great polar ice caps. The lights appeared in the distance. They looked like the lights of a strange ocean liner sailing on a frozen sea. There, said the conductor, is the North Pole. There it is there. Now I can see that there. Hmm. As a matter of fact, I remember even one part, like on the movie, they end up on like a big sheet of ice there, and they had to try to get back on course with the train track on the other end. Then there was a point where I think something happened to the little. There was a little girl on the train, and something happened to her. They thought she was getting thrown off the train, but it turned out she was brought up to ride in the front of the train there. The North Pole, it was a huge city, standing alone at the top of the world, filled with factories where every Christmas toy was made. At first, we saw no elves. They are they are gathering at the center of the city. The conductor told us. That is where Santa will give the first gift of Christmas. Who receives the first gift of Christmas? We all asked. The conductor answered, he will choose one of you. Hmm, first gift, huh? Yeah. Look, shouted one of the children. Wait, the elves! Outside, we saw hundreds of elves. As the train drew closer to the center of the North Pole, we slowed to a crawl, so crowded were the streets of Santa's helpers when the Polar Express could go no further. We stopped, and the conductor led us outside. Ooh, there's a lot of elves there. Lots of them in this city. Let's see. Ooh. We pressed through the crowd to the edge of a large open circle. In front of us stood Santa's sleigh. The reindeer were excited. They pranced and paced, ringing the silver bells that hung from their harness. It was a magical sound like nothing I'd ever heard before. Across the circle, the elves moved apart, Santa Claus appeared. The elves cheered wildly. He marched over to us, pointing at me, and said, "Let's have let's have this fellow here." He jumped into his sleigh. The conductor handed me up. I sat on Santa's knee. He asked, "Now, what would you like for Christmas?" Like the way Santa do at the mall there. They ask you that question. Yeah, but old Santa and his now there was a thing in the movie. I think the main leading the little boy, the main boy in the movie, he didn't actually, I don't think he believed in Santa Claus. And then when they got there, he had to say, "I believe," and he was whole. And then that's when he was able to see. We was able At first he was able to hear the sleigh bells. Then he saw Santa himself. And I remember seeing, and that clip was also in the Polar Express trailer there. Ooh. Mm. I knew that I could have any gift I could imagine, but the one thing I wanted for Christmas was not inside Santa's bag. What I wanted more than anything was one silver bell from Santa's sleigh. Mm. When I asked Santa, when I asked, Santa smiled. He gave me a hug and told an elf to cut a bell from a reindeer's harness, and the elf tossed it up to Santa, holding the bell high above him, and called out, "The first gift of the first gift of Christmas!" Oh boy, sleigh bell, huh? It's quite a request there. The clock struck midnight as the elves roared their approval. Santa handed the bell to me. I put it in my bathrobe pocket. The conductor helped me down from Santa's sleigh. Santa shouted out the reindeers' names. On Donner, on Blitzen, on Prancer, on Dancer, on Rudolph, on hold on, let me look it up. I know some of the reindeers' names, like Rudolph, Blitzen, things like that. Let's see. all of Santa's reindeer names. Okay, here's what he said. He says, on Dasher, on Dancer, on Prancer, on Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donner, on Blitzen. Yep. And then, of course, the addition of Rudolph that joined them later, bringing him. So he went from. So he started off with 8 reindeer. Then Rudolph made 9. Remember, as they say, then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, said Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? And how the reindeer loved him as they shouted out with glee. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, you'll go down in history. His team charged forward and climbed into the air. Santa circled once above us, then disappeared in the cold, dark polar sky. Yes, there he goes there. As soon as we were back inside the Polar Express, the other children asked to see the bell. I reached into my pocket, but the only thing I felt was a hole. I had lost the silver bell from Santa Claus' sleigh. Let's hurry outside and look for it, one of the children said, but the train gave a certain lurch and we started moving. We were on our way. Oh, yeah, that was in the movie too when he lost the bell there. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that from the movie. Yeah. Oh, boy. It's a big book to show pan across there, I can tell you that much. It broke my heart to lose the bell. When the train reached my house, I sadly left the other children. I stood in the doorway and waved goodbye to the conductor. And the conductor said something from the moving train, but I couldn't hear him. What? I yelled. He cupped his hands around his mouth. Merry Christmas! He shouted. The Polar Express let out a loud blast from his whistle and sped away. Merry Christmas! On Christmas morning, my little sister Sarah and I opened our presents, but when it looked as if everything had been unwrapped, Sarah found one last small box behind the tree. It had my name on it. Inside was the silver bell. There was a note. Found this on the seat of my sleigh. Fix that hole in your pocket. Signed, Mr. C. Oh, the conductor said, oh, wait. Found this on the seat of my sleigh. Oh, wait, no. No. Oh, okay. So it is sad. Okay, sleigh. Okay, so I did read it right. Signed, Mr. C. Okay, Claus, Santa Claus. I shook the bell. It made the most beautiful sound my sister had ever heard. But my mother said, oh, that's too bad. It's broken. When I shaken the bell, my parents had not heard the sound. Oh, because they don't believe. Oh, I think that's why. Yeah. At one time, most of my friends most of my friends could hear the bell, but as years passed, it fell silent for all of them. Even Sarah found one Christmas that she could no longer hear its sweet sounds. Though I've grown old, the bell still rings for me as it does for those who truly believe. You have to believe the bell. Yep. And that is the end of the story there. And here's the note from the author, Chris Van Allsburg. As children, we did not grow up steadily one day at a time. Occasionally, we would leap forward, getting separated from our mother in the supermarket and holding panic at bay, finding her own, her own, our, finding her on our own. It would could instantly make us feel a year older. It's the same way when we feel we rode off alone on a bicycle for the first time. While most of the experiences left me exhilarated, there was one leap forward that produced less welcome emotions. When I was 8 years old, I began to consider the possibility that Santa Claus was not real. Oh boy. Embracing this suspicion made me feel grown up and suddenly also unhappy. Leaving behind the belief in Santa meant I would never experience the enchantment that accomplished the days leading up to Christmas, the exquisite, almost unbearable anticipation of a fairy tale coming to life. The fairy tale that included me would be gone forever. I didn't feel like growing up. I felt like losing something. Like I felt like losing something like being thrown out of the land of miracles and hearing the gates close behind me. I wanted to come back in. Fortunately, the Polar Express pulled up to my house that Christmas, taking me on a trip that did lead me that did lead me back. There is a seat on the train for you. All aboard. That's sweet. And I met the little metal thing came out. Let me show it. Here it is there. Let me get it out of the yeah, plastic bag. It could be dang okay. Yeah. Let me get it out of here. Very careful here. Yeah. Oh boy. Ah, okay. Now see it here. Say the Polar Express. All aboard. Yeah. Now we know what comes in there. I think I'll keep this little bag, kind of keep it safe for right now. It's a pretty little neat trinket there. See, kind of, yeah, keep it in there. So yeah, like I said before, yeah, it is a, yeah, I do plan. Like I say, now when, like I say again, when it'll happen, when it happens, because like I say, my Yumiko series started right at pretty much at the beginning of summer. So yeah, kind of got a while before Christmas, unless of course they do a Christmas in July or something. It is a possibility, because in the first book, had Anna trying on modeling clothes and stuff, and uh, they she was being asked about modeling some Christmas hats for Christmas in July, or knit hats there for Christmas in July special there. So yeah, that is a possibility that this could happen. But like I say, yeah, I do plan to work Santa into the Yumiko series, along with probably a few other things, especially public domain. And also on top of that, I do as now. Of course, like I say, we do know, reality. We do know, like the true meaning of Christmas. Obviously, Jesus Christ coming down here. Born in a manger. Um, Born in a manger. Mary and Joseph. We know that is real. We know now, as far as with the Santa thing, yes, Santa is a part, like I say, part of our what we have created for the fantasy of Christmas. But here's the thing: knowing that it is a fantasy, that means that's why we have so many versions of Santa Claus, and why we have so much, and why in knowing that that's what he is, that makes it more fun in imagining different things about him, like in my story or something like that. If you set your that's one thing I definitely advise with parents that are watching this. Um, you know, like you say, well, should I tell to try to like, well, hey, Santa's coming, and try to the kids believing that he's real. If your kids know from the beginning that like I say, he's part of their that's part of the of make believe, like like Mr. Rogers say, the land of make believe. If they know that from the beginning, and I know in these stories like Polar Express, you know, they have he exists in those stories there. But if you know that he is part of make believe, that means you can have a lot of fun imagining things about him when you read these stories to your children. You and your y'all can even create stories of your own about Santa Claus. Just like I create stories in general. That's the whole fun of the of having this imagination and the escapism. When you be you come in from a hard day at work, especially the adults, and or either kids coming in from their day at school and everything, and you just want to get away from that. You want to, yeah, that's the good thing about having your imagination and not and keeping that. Just because become an adult doesn't mean you have to let go of the imagination. You know that it is your imagination, but it gives you an escapism. When you come home from the day and you just want to relax and just have a moment, just to you know be just to make up an adventure for yourself there. Just kind of or with your or even with your friends and stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. It gives us um, a balance. Where we can just really um, kind of just expand our minds beyond outside the box. Just and say and be innocent and stuff. So yeah, that's definitely uh, one of the good things with this book and other fantasy books in general with Santa as well as other fantasy things. Yeah, or Mr. Rogers say the land of make believe. Yeah, so yeah, so yeah, definitely let your children know the truth and say, but just because you let them know doesn't mean that you're taking this away from them. This telling them the truth allows them to expand their mind because now, oh, so Santa is my imagination, so I can make up a story about him. So yeah, and then just think when they grow up, they could be one of the mall Santas there out there, or even or if not being mall, how we have cosplayers at conventions and stuff. They can even cosplay Santa Claus there. Hey, I mean, it is. I mean, that's the whole point of cosplaying, So yeah. So that maybe they cosplay a certain Santa Claus, like Tim Allen Santa Claus, for instance. There, so that's one of, like I say, one of my favorites there, or either the one from Miracle on 34th Street or the one from Ernest there. Yeah, there's so many ways that could go. Yeah, like I say, well, when you get to the Santa thing in your Christmas, and like the kids are asking, well, does Santa exist? Just tell them the truth that it is part of the imagination, but don't. But it is okay. But just because Santa's part of the imagination, it is okay for them to have that imagination. Yeah. So that's all I got there. Like I say, not really much on other than what I just said there. Because like I say, all I really know of Polar Express, other than this book, is of course the movie itself, and what it was, and pretty much what the story in general was about. Between the movie and book, and the event that my mom them had at her school. So yeah, that's it there. So like I say, gonna wrap this up here. Say y'all like what you heard and everything. Definitely, like I say, especially ones watching the replay, definitely like, share, and subscribe. Definitely get our available books and also other books and expand your imagination. Your imagination. And also definitely support us on Patreon. Just like the Iceman Universe, he like I say, he got some stuff going on. Give him some love too. Say full length reactions of Courage the Cowardly Dog, Hey Arnold, Ed, Ed Nettie, Spy Family, Naruto, and One Piece, and also um, definitely just like you hang out with us in the live streams, also hang out with us on Discord and Facebook, and support the Miracle Crew. Yours truly, King Gabe, Big Sis Casey, Queen Tina, Janara Nelson, and also EJ the Supreme. And let's tell you some stuff on the McCary app. And without further ado, we will see y'all in the next video. Y'all take care, everybody. All aboard the Polar Express. And don't let go of your imagination because even it can help you out.